Good morning, everybody. So it is March 10th, 2022. Sorry, I'm off. It's been a long week, and I forget my days sometimes. But anyway, so we're having, if you can see behind me, beautiful sunny skies. Look at that. It's supposed to be about 45 or 46 degrees today. So we're going to take some time to check on them. I don't expect that you will see much from the bees in this video, but we'll see what happens. You never know. With the weather, with the temperatures, they should be out flying today and doing cleansing flights. And so what my goal is to check on them, scoop out any dead bees from the bottom to make sure that they're still getting their ventilation. I actually am putting a little bit of pollen powder out because as we are getting warmer and they're going to start, making brood. I know that that's kind of a questionable thing. Some beekeepers are probably going to say, no, you shouldn't be doing that just yet. But the reality is, being my first year keeping bees, I'm not 100% sure what their honey is doing, or their honey stores. I went into the winter confident that I had enough honey stores for them. But that also only works if the cluster stays with that honey, right? If the cluster's too small and the honey frames were too far away and they're coming north, by north I mean up in the hive, then they may not even get to that other honey. So, it's my first year. I'm trying to do the things that I think are going to work or the right thing by way of the bees. So I guess we just have to go with that. So that being said, I'm going to check on Gloria first. Let's see if I can get her behind me here. Oh yeah, I guess with this cinematic view, you don't get to see her very well, but she is right there. So I'm going to go scoop out her dead bees and then take the top off and check to see how they're doing, and see if they need any sugar. And I'm checking them first because the sun is already on them and has been on them for a couple of hours. And I'm going to give the sun some time to get on to these other 3 colonies that are in a less than perfect place for the winter time. They were great for the summer, but not for the winter. So once these snowbanks go down, we'll be moving those 3 hives over to where it's sunnier as well. So stand by for hopefully some fun bee action. Okay, so as I was saying, Gloria's been getting the majority of the sun today so far, and so we're going to check her first. I apologize for the traffic background. I'm actually going to build up a wall right along that area, roundabout behind where the apiary is going to be, or once it's built up. I'm going to build a stack of wood wall to help with the breeze, but also to maybe help with some of that noise. I don't know if it's a big deal to the bees, but we'll see. So for those of you who are wondering, that are really new to it or just don't know anything about beekeeping, when I say we're going to scrape out the dead bees, this is what I mean. So I have these mouse guards on. You can see these holes. Those are big enough for the bees to come out, and for the ventilation to happen and that sort of thing, but mice can't get in. And in the winter time, mice and other little critters want some space to be warm, and they want food, and they really like beehives. And so we do this so that they can't get in there. And so when we're scraping the dead bees, what we do is we just take this thumbtack off, and we remove this and take it off just like this. Okay. Now, if you don't like to see dead bees or dead animals, look away. But this is kind of necessary. This is the normal life cycle, right? The bees are going to die. They don't live for a long time. The winter bees certainly live longer than the summer bees. But fact is, they do die. And so what we do, just a little bit, see, I'm going to keep this flat, and I'm just going to scrape through and get them out, okay? And it's not to be mean. We're not scooping any live bees. It is just to get any dead bees out that might be in there. Oh, and I can see that some of the sugar has fallen down on them too. I hope that wasn't a bad thing. Yeah. So that just gets the dead ones out if they're down on the bottom, and it helps with clearing away for the other bees to get in there. There weren't too many, which is awesome. And so we can put we can put this back on to keep the mice out. So I'm gonna stop this right now while I adjust that because I need 2 hands. Okay, so we put that back on, and then that gives them more space. Now, because the bees have been moving up in the hive throughout the winter, they're mostly using this entrance here to come and go, but that doesn't mean that they won't bring some of their dead out the bottom. It's just been different each time we've checked them. So, somebody wants to be a Flowmaster mama. Anyway, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dismantle all these ratchet straps, and we're gonna pop the top on here like we did last time, and we're gonna just check to see if we can see the bees, if they're alive, and if they need sugar. So let's do this. Okay, so I've got the top off, and I don't want to lift this cover. Same like last time, I don't want to lift it until I'm ready to actually do something, so I'm going to just chat for a minute. So what I am noticing is that even though it's about 42, 43 degrees right now, there's a breeze. And because of that breeze, I am a little concerned about exposing them for too long. So this will be a quick look and a quick pop of sugar in there if necessary. So let's see what we've got going on here. All right, so this is Gloria's hive, and Gloria was a late season requeen last year, and overwintered as a nuke. So let's see what we've got here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, forgot about that cover. Silly me. Alright, so let's see what we got going on here. Prayers for Gloria and the girls. Yes. So you see we have bees here. We have them eating on their sugar, and that's the sugar brick that I put out about a week or 2 ago. So we're just going to let them do their thing. I'm not going to do any more with them. I'm not going to open up anymore. I'm just going to let them eat their sugar and be happy and healthy. They seem to be enjoying it, so great. Okay, so Gloria looking good. I'm happy. I'm not upset that I don't see a lot of bees when I open her cap, because that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of bees in there. There just means that their need for that sugar hasn't been so great that the whole entire cluster is up there. So I'm thankful that I saw that. They're there. We've only got another couple of tough weeks, I think, before we get into some things starting to bud and bloom and a little more foraging and that sort of thing. So fingers crossed. Now, this hive, this colony right here, this is Stella. Stella ultimately was my first colony. I think I mentioned in one of my other videos that I also lost this queen later in the summer. I lost Stella. And I don't know how I lost her because I never found her little body. So I don't know if I pinched her by accident, obviously by accident, or if she died and they didn't have a chance to make another queen. I don't know what happened. But I requeened her with one of Jason Peters' queens from Maine Beekeeping. As a matter of fact, Gloria, that queen, is also one of Jason's queens from Maine Beekeeping, and they seem to have done a phenomenal job supporting the rest of their colony and getting them through the winter. So this colony has been a little up and down for me this winter because I did an inspection almost a month ago, actually. It was February 11th was that first really great warm day we had that I felt comfortable popping the covers and checking their sugar. And all of the colonies had broken through their sugar and were eating it except Stella, and that made me a little nervous, and not wanting to mess with the powdered sugar that I had put in there at the beginning of the season, but also what am I trying to say here? But also wanted to get an idea of, holy cow, are they in there? You know, through the winter I had seen them flying, I had seen dead bees on the snow in front, so that made me feel like they were there, but then I got nervous because all the hives had broken through their sugar and Stella's hadn't, all the colonies had. So anyway, I put my ear down. That was on February 11th. I put my ear down, I could hear them buzzing. A week later, when we had a warm day and I was checking everybody, I put my ear down and I couldn't hear them buzzing. And I actually cried for a couple of days, because even though I know that it's possible to lose the colonies and that many beekeepers do lose the colonies, especially first-year beekeepers, I just don't deal well with killing my animals. So I really fretted about it for a couple of weeks and cried off and on. Like, true story, I'm an empath, and was really upset that I had, you know, potentially not done well by the girls and killed them. So yeah, so that was the second time it was warm, and when I opened it, still no bees at the sugar. Put my ear down, no buzzing. So that's why I thought that maybe I had killed them. Fast forward about a week and a half from that date, and we had another warm day, and I checked them. I had contemplated going in and pulling the hive apart just so that I would have the extra honey for the spring splits and that sort of thing. But I said, no, you know what? Everything is strapped down tight. The bears aren't going to get it. The mouse guards are on. I'm just going to let them do, and I'll let the hive sit there, right? If in the spring other bees want to come rob it, okay, great. But that was just my plan. That's what I was going to do. But then fast forward that couple of weeks, so just about a week and a half ago, I think, we had a warm day, and I said, what the hey, and I popped the cap, and lo and behold, they had broken through the sugar. There they were, just happily eating their sugar, little buzzy butts away, and I was so, so happy. So I'm really hoping that when I pop this cap today, they are still good to go, that I'm still seeing bees, and that Stella is still going strong, and so we'll see. And just like with Gloria, I'm going to put this camera down so that I can unstrap everything. Okay, and just like with Gloria, I'm gonna pop this cover, but not until I'm done chatting. So just a reminder, this is one that I thought I had lost, left it alone. Lo and behold, there they were. And when I last popped it, they were in this front forward corner. So this is where we're going to go in and look from. We're going to check for bees. We're going to check for sugar or, you know, what have you, to make sure they've got enough food. And then we're just going to leave them alone. So here we go. Look at the girls. Look at those girls. They are doing fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to a young human named Patricia Gillis. Patricia Gillis, although I think it is Patricia's child by way of the conversation, has really been into watching the couple of bee videos that I've posted and asking lots of questions, and that inspires me because it makes me feel like, yay, there's another young human that's going to get into beekeeping. And what I want to take this moment to explain, because I bet that there's going to be some questions coming from there, is that, you know, you watched the first two parts of the video when we checked on Gloria and then we checked on Stella. And remember, both of those overwintered as nukes. And so they were very small colonies, not a lot of bees, and that sort of thing. So what I want to point out is that this colony that I'm about to check on, and this one here, so this is Donna and this is Elaine. These were both really large, healthy, huge colonies going into the winter. So it stands to reason that they're going to have a ton of bees, and that things might look a little different as long as they're alive in this colony than they would in the other one. And so did want to point that out as we kind of get into checking on these girls. So Donna was a split that was done late spring, early summer, by my friend Candace, and she had gifted the colony to me as a nuke. And so grew from a 5-frame nuke and just became this monster colony that actually, because I had frames that were already drawn out, gave me honey. Not a ton of honey, but I was able to take honey and feel confident. Same with Elaine. As we were doing the inspection where we got Donna, we found another queen cell, and that was Elaine. And so Miss Candace gifted me both of those, and that was just such a great thing. So as long as these two are alive, we can say we're at 100% survival for this winter, but of course with a few weeks to go. So let's get into Donna and let's see what we've got here. I'm going to go one at a time just because I don't know what we're going to see, and it can be exciting, and I may need to grab my smoker. I may not. Let's see. Okay, so this is the homicide board. This is the one that, if you remember from some other videos, we talked about. This absorbs moisture. The condensation that's created from the bees and their little body heat that they create creates a lot of moisture. And so the bees need some moisture, right? They need to be able to process what they're eating and so forth, like we all need water, but too much can actually kill the bees. And so this homicide board will help to absorb that moisture as it rises up. And definitely I think we see bigger difference with this colony than the other colonies and what we see on the board, just because more bees, more heat, right? So let's see what we got. Okay, so we got that top cover. Oh, there's bees there. Oh my goodness. Let's get this down there. All right, you see the bees. Hi, girls. Now I'm super stoked that I can see them right there, but what I can't tell from doing this is whether or not their sugars are good. And so what I'm going to do is pause this video again, and then I'm going to smoke them just a little bit. They're very calm, but what I want is for them to move down so that if I have to put some sugar on there, I can. Is it a little curious, girls? All right. Okay, so when we lift the cover, and we can see the cluster here and in there, and they definitely are up here eating sugar. But what I want to do is make sure that there's some sugar above them. So I'm going to break off some pieces of this sugar board that I have in my container, and hopefully they'll enjoy that. It looks like the sugar brick that I gave them last week, they've eaten all up. So let's give them some more. Okay, so I put in some of the sugar block brick that I made last week. It unfortunately was breaking apart in pieces. I'm not super thrilled with that, but I got it in there. Just wanted to take a quick minute also to point out to you when I was talking earlier about the homicide board or homosote. I need to go look that up because I don't know which one it is. But anyway, it absorbs the moisture. And if you can see those moisture rings right there, that's the side of the board that was down towards the hive. And so as they were creating this condensation and it was rising, it was being absorbed into that board, and that was keeping them safe and healthy. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this colony, the insulation piece and the kaleidoscoping cover on so that we can check Elaine and then be done for the day. And then this is going to be the last colony. This is Elaine. I don't know if there's anything specific I need to point out here. What I have not yet done is scrape the dead bees from Elaine and Donna. I just scraped Stella the other day, so I'm going to leave her alone today down in that portion. But after I check for sugar and bees here in Elaine, then I'll go to the front, I'll scrape out those 2 colonies, and then we're done for the day. We don't do much in the winter. It's just too cold, and we just want to make sure they have food and then get them all hunkered back in and warmed up. So here we go. Let's see what we've got. I don't know if we'll see any through the hole like we did with Donna. And I need to apologize. I do have a winter cold, and so if you hear me sniffling, I apologize. Not the prettiest thing, but just part of the world. Okay, so you can see we've got bees right there at the top, which means that they too, ooh, it startled me. They too have probably gotten through that sugar brick that I gave them the other day. So we're going to check on that. Okay, so when I lift Elaine's cover, they still have a fair amount of the sugar brick that I gave them last week. And so I think just to get the rest of this candy out of my container, I'm certainly going to go ahead and just put it in there to get it out and let them have that food, but they don't really need it in this colony. A lot of girls up here, a lot of activity, and I just love watching them. They're so beautiful. All right, I need to get you off the ledge, sister, because I don't want to squish you. Okay, folks, there you have it. March 10th, 2022. 4 colonies, all alive. I couldn't be happier. They all seem to have enough food. They seem healthy. And yeah, just these winters are going to be tough if they're like this every single year. And I hope that they're not, because emotionally this was tough. As a first-year beekeeper who fell into it accidentally ahead of planned schedule and just learning by the seat of my pants, but utilizing all my mentors so that I could do the right thing. And even just some gut instincts sometimes. You know, it seems as though, at least for today, we've made it through the winter. And I look forward to seeing what the next couple of weeks bring, because with the high temperatures we're having, the snow melting, it's that time when we're going to start to get buds and flowers and, you know, everything that we need for the bees. So my hope is that in the next couple of weeks we can make some more videos that have more bee activity. I know you folks like to see that, and I like to see it myself too. So it's not just fun for me to shoot the video for you to see it, but it's fun for me to see it as well. So until next time, this is Bobby Joe with Lavender Bridges with a Touch of Giles, signing off.